Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. Today, I've got a prize in store for you. Well, it's not. It's my prize, not your early Christmas present for me. Let me say right now, if you hear boys outside screaming, carrying on, they're out there playing basketball, talking crap on each other. Before we get to the unboxing, I was down here preparing stuff. We're in the Midwest. Tomorrow is Christmas Eve. It's going to be almost 70 or maybe 72 degrees. Our water is not completely frozen over. There was a little bit of surface ice, but it's probably melted today because today was like 50, almost 60 degrees. It's not going to freeze overnight. So I'm hoping to get out tomorrow at some point in time and fish on Christmas Eve. So I was down here rigging up stuff. I came home from work expecting tons of boxes from AliExpress. So I got a bunch. I got a lot of stuff coming. Well, anyway, thankfully, if you guys also follow, you know that I ordered a reel from Digitaka, a non-Chinese, non-AliExpress reel. I also have a actual JDM reel coming from AliExpress. If you haven't followed the channel, it'll be a surprise. Hit the like, subscribe, or hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that button and the little bell button to follow along if you're just now joining in to Bass and Bonsai, because we got a lot going on. We always got a lot going on. So what I got here today is a box from Digitaka. Unfortunately, I could swear I heard this box hit my porch because it wasn't here when I got off work, and I was like, oh man, I'm gonna go fishing without anything new other than, and we'll talk about it, I got my Barrels line rigged up and we'll be trying that out. I could swear this got thrown from the street. And if you guys ever watch my cast test, that's about 60 foot, 55 foot, probably to my porch. I think the guy threw it because I heard like a clunking. And by the time I got up and looked, the truck was driving off and this was laying on the porch. And I'm telling you, I was like right there. The guy did not have time to come and set this on my porch and walk back, I possibly run back, dive in the door, and drive off. So I think that happened right here at the last, right in the last, like, I don't know, today. Oh man. Anyway, hopefully they package them pretty good. Nothing in here is damaged, right? But that's just, I don't know. I've told you guys before, if you watch my video on the cast test, I was out there doing the FedEx truck drove by. I told you, them FedEx drivers, they're a whole nother breed. Hey, I'm a driver also. I deliver tires. And I've been called crazy before, but I ain't FedEx driver crazy. I'll tell you that right now. So anyway, hopefully nothing got hurt. I'm going to get my scissors out in this. I don't know. Oh my goodness. It is packaged. I should probably open it from the side that's not supposed to be open from, shouldn't I? It would probably be easier. Yeah, that's way easier than what they had going on at the top. So let's just get into it. Let's get into this unboxing. We'll talk about what I got going on. I'm going fishing, doing some different testing. Ooh, what did I get? Digitaka. Oh, I've ordered from Digitaka before because I got one of these stickers somewhere else. Got a sticker, and I don't even know what is this. Like a bag of arigato. I don't know. I don't know what's in there. It's just like paper. Anyway, we opened it from the bottom. So we got this. It came from Digitaka, Japan Fishing Tackle Store. And I'll be honest, so far, most of the stuff I found on here is cheaper than almost anywhere else straight out of Japan that you can get it from. You know what I'm saying? I know that if you guys follow Real Test, he gets his stuff from the Japan Lure Shop. I'll do another video on that at some point about the whole where to look. Sometimes I think it's the Japan tackles where you actually, it's a good idea to go look at like the old reels because they never like update their system. They leave all the old stuff you could have bought way back when. It kind of makes you go, oh man, but it's kind of like taking a history lesson. So anyway, and I'm not 100% sure, this better be right-handed, on why, but some of these have a G. Is that just the designated for the United States, or I'm not 100% sure on. My Daiwa is old. Back when I messed with Daiwas, I was always keeping up on all this kind of stuff. So we just got more paperwork, SLP plus, instructions. We never read instructions. We don't throw them away though. We keep all that stuff right there. And that is all there is in there. There's instructions, this bag. That's not a bag. And then this isn't the real funky, crinkly stuff that is annoying when you're getting it out of the package. And here we have, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, folks at home, the reel we've all been waiting for Daiwa to make, right? Ever since they came out that crazy, and I know a lot of you guys probably have love for it, Tatula. Oh my God, I just hearing the name makes me cringe. So what we have here could be the answer to all of our problems, right? If you're a Daiwa lover. So what we have here, and I know I'm way late on the, you hear that? The kids are destroying the house. Oh well, we got our new reel in. Late to the game on this because this also came out during my little hiatus on doing RC racing and spending way more money than you'll ever spend on fishing gear racing RC cars. But this reel, I wouldn't even have ordered it, I'll be honest. The reel test, I watched his deal, and he kind of, yeah, he was kind of knocking this reel. I'll be honest, he was knocking it. We all know he talks about Daiwa fanboys, but he is a Shimano fanboy, tried and true. I ain't gonna knock him for that. I love my Shimanos too. No, I jokingly say that because this, you guys all know, if you follow the channel, if you don't, I'm just joking because the Shimano Aldebaran anyway, best reel ever made. Hasn't been touched yet, but, whoa, wait a minute. Are we getting close? Daiwa, are we finally downsizing our reels enough? We came out that crazy T-wing to the point that now we have a reel that not only competes right there with the Shimanos, but is small and comfortable and easy to palm, and we love it. And there's another channel, I can't even think of the name of it, and the guy does not speak English. And there's a couple things that made me really decide to go ahead and purchase this, because if you guys don't know, these are about a $300 reel compared to our $65 to $75 reels, right? That honestly will work for this kind of fishing I do. These will work all day long. But man, there's nothing that says more about quality than once you get into the JDM stuff. And this Aldebaran 50, this old school. Nowadays, he's already old, but there's still the technology, they still can't touch it. Can't touch it. It's like MC Hammer. You just can't touch this. I'm like Vanilla Ice. I'm rolling in my 5.0 right now. Look at that. Look at that. This reel feels good. So I watched that guy, and I should probably try to share the link. He had the Alphas SV, the Alphas SV, which is the same color. Why they painted them all the same color? And he was holding them up and stuff, and I'm like, you know what? I don't think that thing is actually as big as the Alphas on certain angles. And Alphas is a small, nice reel. It's got that crazy little spool that I do not like. You know, you guys all know I like the versatility of a BFS. I want it to be versatile enough to go through the full range, not a one-trick pony that's just good for the little trout magnet that I don't even throw. Well, I throw out here test casting. So I wouldn't have even asked him to get this one out. What happened was I went to Roger Sporting Goods. Let me finish the whole story. I'm a storyteller. And you guys, if you've seen the video, I picked up this rod, not even looking for this rod, but I came across this rod and I was like, I'm going to go and see how a reel feels on it, you know, just so I get the feel of it. 13 Fishing, and I recommend it, the Fate Black. That's an awesome lineup there. It's $79 rods, and man, the quality, the eyes, it's all good. Now the blanks, you're going to have to, I recommend filming in person because they come stiffer than the recommendations. That's the thing about cheap rods or AliExpress rods, but rods here in the States or wherever you buy them from. The cheaper they get, doesn't mean you can't actually go out and accomplish the same things as with the expensive rods. The problem is what they're labeled as and described as, that quality kind of goes way out the window, because if you guys heard me talk about the Berkeley Lightning rods, they're like way lower powered, and that's why I recommend those for that, like stage up from true BFS to just finesse, in which this is more of a, you know, just power fishing in general. It's a medium, but it feels more like a medium heavy. I'm throwing half-ounce baits with it. But I just wanted to get a balance and a feel. So I went up there, and of course the first reel, what did they give me? I asked for something. This was off to the side, and I wouldn't even have actually asked to let me see this one because, and if it wasn't for the fact I'd watched that other guy's video. So they the new Tatula, is it the limited or whatever? That's real. It's even a little bit brighter than this with the knobs like what the Black Knight 2 and the Dark Wolf Ultra come with. And it's a good looking reel, but I'm like, they didn't change anything, right, other than the paint job. So they gave me that when I put it on. Of course, it palmed big because I've had all the Tatulas. From the beginning, from the time of Tatula, they had just a regular one, and then the Type R had both those. Then they had the CT and the CT Type R, whatever, had both those. I had the regular one. The only one I didn't have was the matte black looking one with the little red things here. I skipped that one. I got the Tatula SV, and I even bought an older. I've had both the SVs, the older style, which was based on I think the original CT frames, and then what is the newest style today I had on, if you guys remember right, I had it on my Tatula rod. So anyway, long story short, this, when he handed it to me and I put it on, and it's not really for this rod because SV, technically you could throw this, but I put it on there and I palmed it. I was like, oh, wait a minute. Wait, uh-oh. That feels good. Look right where I grab here. There's nothing hindering me. It's like my fingers were meant to be right there. My thumb goes right there. It's some reels actually are starting to feel too little. This doesn't feel too big or too little. And the problem with the Tatulas is right up here. For me, on palming ergonomics, when you grab it, it feels like my thumb's like a mile up. And I've talked about it before. There's something about this reel, the Zephyr, I can't make myself like how it palms. But anyway, when I put that one on this reel and felt it, I was like, oh, there goes $300. So I just knew I had to probably go ahead and buy that reel. Well, I got lucky. They had it for sale. Of course, if you're familiar with these in the States, it's going to have brass gears, which are going to add weight. Technically, some will say it gives it a smoother feel and will last longer than aluminum. But I'm telling you right now, I like the old Daiwa reels with the aluminum. Now, yeah, they get geary after a while, and you got to put new gears in them. But I like the weight savings, and I like that feel myself. I like aluminum gears. All these AliExpress reels I'm getting, I have no problem. I'm pretty sure all the Aldebarans have aluminum gears too. I'm used to. That's what I like. I probably brass gears probably feel weird, but anyway, there's our Zillion. And when I watched the reel test, I think I've watched that video a couple times when he was doing his take on this reel. He compared it to a lot of different looks and stuff on Shimano's, but I'll be honest, he missed what I think is most looks like a Shimano about this reel, other than all the other little stuff, because he was talking about some of the newer ones. I'll be honest, this reel from right here reminds me of the older Metaniums. You guys know what I'm talking about? The Chronarch D7, the older Metaniums you can still go on eBay and get, which look awesome. And they're like 100 and something to 150 bucks. Can get you one with just a couple scratches on it. Very nice reels. Problem is, they palm like tanks. They're huge compared to today's stuff. And so they look nice, but they're just palm big. But this reel right here, hopefully I like it. But just the palming and the overall looks of it, and it's supposed to have this crazy super SV spool and all that. But then another thing that in the reel test may not even know, because he is not a Daiwa guy, is it took me watching another video before I realized do you guys know who Trey Harple is? I can't think of his name he does his reel and tuning deal, but he showed me something that I didn't realize in his video when I watched it, and I'm hoping it works for mine, because I want to show you guys something. So, now according to him, and it looked like he did it, let's just try this right here. Let me see. Let's just try this. Hang on. Don't jump to conclusions. Okay. Perfect fit. You guys know what that spool's out of? That's my old TD Ito. Meaning that this reel, and for some guys it goes either way. Like say if you're a Daiwa guy and you're like, well, I didn't know if I wanted the Zillion or not. Well, guess what? All of your older TDZ whatever spools will slap right in this dude. Now there's one size that's bigger. I can't think of it off the top of my head. There's a different, you know, there's some of the CT. There's certain ones, just a couple off-breed TDZ spools that will not fit this. But your standard, the TD Ito, I think the Type Rs and all those will work. The majority of the like ZPI back in the day, the magnesium spools that were being made, they're real cool looking, will all work in this. But then it also gives you the option, this cool little thing will work in your older reels, which is very cool. And I want to say Digitaka, you can go there and look. I think I've seen them as cheap as $275 or $8, but I gave like 280 or 85 bucks shipped. That's cheap. So anyway, I also thought for a second, now I don't know about this for sure. It's been so long since I've messed with these. I'm gonna put the old spool back in. We'll look at spool. I don't know. I'm not big on the weighing them, but something told me, and I'm just gonna try this. And then I know it's a different size spool. I get that. Hang on. Let me see. I thought. Now I may be way wrong on this part, but I thought that if that spool fits. And so does this spool. Now, they made shims. They made the spacers that are like a millimeter for the different size. But what that also will let you do, because if you guys aren't familiar with Daiwa, not only with the, and I believe the Pixie also, that's like 2 millimeters. I believe the old Zillions, the TDZs and Zillions and stuff, all the Daiwa spools would interchange into those if you had those spacers at Iron. There's a couple guys that started making them and selling them. So if you have that technology around you or whatever, then that means this reel is kind of like unlimited on which of the Daiwa spools that you could play around with, run in it, buy a dozen of these, and you got a whole lineup of whatever, change out the drags. So anyway, that's cool. Now, will I do any of that? Who knows? What I have already done, I've already got a gold drag star, $16 coming from AliExpress, and it's the same as, where's this route at? But I've got, which reminds me of the old ZPIs, I've got this drag star in gold coming for it. I've got a shallow. Now, I don't have the high dollar spool. I got the guy, LT Fishing. He said he's going to let me know when the gold one in, the real shallow, the $54 chameleon or whatever. So I'm going to buy it. But I also found a gold, just those generic BFS spools with all the little holes in it, the waffle spools. Or not the waffles. These ones with all the holes cut in it. For, I think it was as cheap as it was $13. So I just got that coming so I can gold it up. Because I think this reel will look real good when you add some gold to it. Where's it? Here's the original spool. But if you want to know the specs, the tackle advisors tore it down, you can check that out. Because I'm not going to tear it down today, right now. If you're in a hurry, you just now, for whatever reason, you're like me, living underneath the rock when this first came out. They also have an HD version out already. But tackle advisors tore it up. The real test, he did do the specs and weighed that and all that kind of stuff, and what he thought of all that. So check out his video if you haven't already. He may be a little bit biased towards Shimano, but he definitely gives them all a fair look, shakedown, tests them out, and you know, if he tells you it does something, then it probably does. The only thing I'm still not sure about, if this thing actually palms bigger or looks bigger than a Metanium, because when I was up at Rogers, they had a Metanium, and I don't, did I look at it? I can't remember. Man, it looks ugly compared. It may be a hell of a reel, way better than this. I liked my old Metanium, the bigger ones, but they palm kind of big too. You guys seen it in different videos. I ended up selling it just because I couldn't get to where I like the feel the way it palmed. So anyway, this is gonna be cool. What I'm doing, I'm gonna get it lined up, and we're gonna do a shootout versus this guy. Just so we'll know. Now, honestly, this guy's probably outgunned. This is a 30. So what I'm gonna do is I'm getting ready to line them up, and I'm going to use this per barrels. We'll be able to test out our cheap braid. This is that. I gave 100, what is that, 1,000? Whatever that is, 1,000 meters each. I gave $17.95 for each 1,000 meters. Per barrels, camo. I like this stuff, and I'll show you in a second. We can kind of see there, it's almost got like a gold in with a dark green and a black, and I don't know. I like that color on, I'll show it to you right now. But I like that color on the lingle.
Where's my mom?
So we got the lingle rigged up on the Tatula. I already got it ready to go. Got the drag, everything set. Because I had all this stuff, I was tearing it down, ready to just get ready for my winter stuff. It's a never-ending fall. You can always go out and fish. I guess I'll show you this real quick since I'm showing you line. I think you already saw, I want to show you that. But that is the Perberos I've got on the Black Knight 2. I reset this to what I cast and throw, and yes, it's fine. And I've got all the, if you're following the channel and the horrible nightmares some guys are having with these Black Knight 2s, I've got all these crazy magnets in, and my brake setting is, what's that, focus? Right there, I'm like a couple notches past 3, but way before 4. Now I can't go all the way to 5. One notch or so before 5 before the magnets actually hit. So, but it gives me about 5 more brake settings. You can see I'm way down there throwing. I was out there practicing with the 2 gram crappie jig, wherever I put it. Just a regular, 16th ounce crappie jig with the skirting thing, weighs like 2 grams. But we got the Perberos line. I'm going to be casting it tomorrow at some point. So for the shootout, I haven't decided if I want to go which rod for sure. I'm going to switch them back and forth from the same rod. But while I'm out fishing, and the intended purpose, I'm still not 100% sure where this reel's even going. But the 30 MGL pretty much has a home on the 903 NRX. It's just a killer combo. Yeah, and it's like my most expensive one. I think I got this, I want to say for like 350 bucks. It was like new used on eBay, you know what I mean? When I got it and unboxed it, it looked brand new, but it bought used by somebody, or new, then they sold it used, like, I don't know, decided they didn't want it. I got a real good deal on it because they still sell, I think, for over 400 bucks. So technically it's out of the price range, but hey, if you're a good enough reel, you should be able to hang with the big dogs, right? So the only thing I will do different, it looks like this one holds a lot more line than this one. So I'm going to spool up, because that's all the line I'm going to want to use anyway. Whatever this one will hold, and I'm going to put 10-pound Perberos blue. But before I do, blue camo. I'm going to take the regular camo, and I'm going to rig it up. I'm going to put as much as this one will hold, and then I'm going to reel it back onto this one, and then put blue on this one. So they will have, and this is the same, I mean, it's both brand new, both 10-pound test. It may look a little different when you guys are checking out the little deal, and you're like, oh, you got different, everything's got to be the exact same. It's going to be the same. I'm going to put, that's 10-pound, I'm going to put 10-pound leaders, and I'll switch them with whichever rod I decide on what I throw. And I may switch them between rods. I may see how low we can throw and accurately have them on a different rod, throwing 2, 4, 6 grams, something, but then we'll see some long casting with some bigger weights. And I'll probably switch rods to go to, like maybe the 903. I keep calling the 9, I don't know, 803. I keep calling it 802, and then for some reason, instead of just going 803, I jump to a 903. I don't know why I do that. One or the other of those for the bigger, longer stuff, bombing out, maybe slap on my probably the thing that I can throw the furthest of anything I own is the 3/4 ounce rattle trap. And you put it on the 803, and that sucker will fly. Now, any kind of little backlash with 10-pound test, and of course I'm going to single lifestyle it. Now, Of course I am. I'm not going to mess up this handle though. Knobs, and it looks good. I wish I could make myself like this again. If you guys don't know, I actually tried. I went out when I first got the lingle and I tried it and I fished. And I mean, I could. It's not the end of the world if I have to use both knobs, but here's the problem. It just, I don't know. It feels like it's in my way. It's hard to explain. And I do not like the idea. Daiwa, if those of you guys don't know, they've went to, I like this idea because I run RC stuff, so I have all these different. And Trey was, when he was doing his video, he still has the old school, which I do right now because I'm forced to. Noah has my, Noah has all of my Allen wrenches, but they make wrench sets through RC or whatever. You don't have to mess with these little funky things. You actually get a wrench, and I don't have one even a broken one I could show you. But it looks just like a screwdriver, and it's got the size that you need of those. Makes it way simpler when you're dealing with that instead of doing this kind of thing and then turning it, you know. It gives you a handle. They make them aluminum, and I mean, it's cool wrench sets. You can get them. They're on AliExpress, of course, too, or here locally or whatever. So anyway, they have a straight screw there that I do not like the idea of putting straight screws on anything. Straight screwdriver should have never been invented. Phillips only, or they didn't invent that soon enough. So, of course, I'm going to single lifestyle. I'm not sure what yet. And if you guys don't know the trick, just a 10mm wrench with save your old plastic bags. Don't throw them away. And once they get a little chewed up, move to a new spot. It's the simplest way to save. And you're not going to save all these nuts. Some of these just come with funky anodization that once you put a little pressure on, they start flaking off. But prolong it for as long as you can, especially if you're like me and you're always switching out stuff. So see, the cool thing about this guy, he's spring loaded. And it's got the Zion star, which is a good, cool star. So as soon as I do get the other one, the purple one, if you guys remember that whole ordeal, it costs you about $25 if you don't have that to buy the parts. The thing's only $16. So I'll be able to pop that one on. But as far as handles, now I'm not going to go with red. I'm going to probably put, probably stick with gold, and I'll have to figure out which knob I want to use. I might go with one. I like this now, and I found these. They sell these used. I mean, they sell these new separate from the real. This is off an old Lose Light, not the newest version out. The older Lose Light, and those things cut down just look good. I might rig it up on that. On one of these, probably this one because it's got a bigger. And you also see the difference. The Daiwa. I cut these down. These are old Daiwa handles. Whoa, 10mm wrench. Gone. Lost forever. But to get this, you had to get the old T3 Air, and a lot of guys were switching them and didn't like those. Nobody likes 80mm handles. All you guys are nuts. You want like 8-foot rods and 200mm handles, and you're ocean fishing for bass. But anyway, I guess if it works for you, it works for you. But for me, I always did, even when I didn't go with, single lifestyle, like 80 or 85mm is all the longer I want. And I've argued that there's my little jig. That thing is getting dirty. 2 grams. Anyway, what was I talking about? And I know I've had people argue this over and over again. When you get a longer handle, it gives you more power. Therefore, it's taking away some of your speed. You can't have both. You can't have the same amount of power and the same amount of speed in the length of your handles. It's a take and give deal. So yeah, you got your fast 8.5-1 or whatever, and that's why you need the 90, 95 or whatever millimeter handle. And I mean, I'm all for fast too, but I still like my short handle just for my turn. Like my wrist only moves so far. Like I don't want to be out there woo. So anyway, I like the shorter handles. We're definitely going to be putting one on, probably this guy. Nah, that's too fancy. That's too fancy for this Zillion. But we've already got a matching gold deal. And now this is not how you do it. I'm just doing this for a quick retro test fit. Oh boy, get it on straight. Trying to do this through a camera. I know you guys have heard people talk about it. So yeah, I will be adding, not that's too fancy of a knob. That knob itself right there, like I've talked about before, is $80 or $85 off Hedgehog Studios. And I don't like it. I thought about sticking that sucker on my drill and just cutting it down if I thought I could. I don't know how tight, because it's already pretty thin. And once you cut down, you got to get to as thin as it was and then get it to match up. And I don't know if there's enough wood there to do it, but I'll probably do it because I do not like it. It just feels too flat. Looks good. Feels too flat. I'm just going to stick this guy in here real quick. These spring-loaded drag stars do kind of make it cool because you can go like this, get it kind of close, and then it looks like it's already on. Just don't forget and try to go fishing like that. So, I mean, you could order like a red spool, slap some red on like that, but I just, ever since I did my, the old Alphas, oh, which Alphas? I did a Type R with too much red, and it was a silver reel, the Alphas Type R, and it just totally turned me off from like too much red on a silver reel. It looked weird. But that, I think, is the handle I'm going to go with. That's my best as far as, I mean, I could go with carbon fiber. I don't have a real good carbon fiber one down here. Where's my carbon fiber? Oh, boy. I got a few handles also coming from AliExpress to cut down, because I started to where I don't cut down the stock ones. I leave them alone, throw them in the box, and that way when I go to sell, man, that is light right there. That is light. Let's see, anybody, I guess, kind of wondered if you actually save weight. Let's weigh some stuff up. I wasn't going to weigh anything. Let's set this down without losing anything. Spread out. Get the scale out. Just, I guess some of you guys have probably wondered what certain stuff weighs. And I think, does our new scale go high enough to weigh handles? Let's find out. I think it only goes to just over 50 grams. Is that right? That ain't right. I think it only weighs 10 grams, the whole thing. Oh, did you guys see that? Let me get you up there. See where it says 10.45 grams. That is light. That's all you need. Just put the nut on to hold it. That's everything right there. That is light. I don't know if I can get this on there. 20.83. Oh, you guys can't see it. Hang on, I'm going to put it where you can see it. 20.83, which is already, that's light for everything, the whole handle. That actually feels lighter than this, but this is like one little chunk. So half the weight right off the bat, you shave 10 grams off an already light, which actually we haven't added this and the nut that holds it would need to be added to that weight. So the weight savings are definitely there, but this will weigh more. This is a lot thicker. Wait a minute. I thought it would weigh more. That shows you how much I know about weight. 10.49. Wow. It's because of that knob, the difference in the wood knobs. The wood, just that extra there, and this little lychee style right here. I don't even know if they're still in business making stuff, are they? Lychee style. That's what gave me the idea of the single lifestyle. Was actually, I had a set of these, and I think Emily has the other one on the Mega Bass Rosso. I think. I had a pair of those. Started doing the single thing. Was always putting one of this on one or whatever. So I just saw that and like lychee style, single lifestyle. So for those of you wanting to know where that came from, I'm trying to find I have a graphite I have a carbon fiber one. It's staring right at me. Here it is. I buried it with the whatchamacallits. So let's see what this would weigh if we just added one of our made up deals. That's all you need, the nut, everything. What? That thing's heavy. Look how heavy that is. You know why? It's because of this. That right there and the ball bearings. These have ball bearings, but just that, so much bigger this is, bigger chunk that is. So yeah, that, and these weren't cheap either. These were awesome though. These were, in my mind, they were worth the money. They were very good at for the time. So under 10 grams, that's the whole handle assembly. That's it, that's all of it. The nut, you can't really count because that's part of the reel. You gotta have that on. So that right there is the whole handle assembly, and that's the lightest. I should try to make one as light as I possibly can. I should go there again. I went there once, and it's not a place you want to go to all the time because that can get like crazy. Well, let's see what, I guess what a standard, do I have a standard one laying around? Well, we can get an idea of what these lightweight coming off the, that's the lightweight one off the Black Knight 2. Yeah, 14 something without the retainer nut and all of that stuff, which I probably can grab. I know it's not what it came with, but so 15, so wow. Oh, that's a huge nut, but oh well. Did I ever put bearings in that, or is that one side may still have bushings? But this is crazy light. If I single lifestyle one side of those with those knobs, that's like crazy light. All right, well, we got way off course of what we were talking about. Wow. There's a basketball goal right outside by the garage door, and when they miss, it miss hard. Get on there. So I don't have. Look at this grease. Why is there grease in there? You don't even need grease like that there. I think they over-greased this thing. I was going to show you what this weighs compared to, I do have that, the stock ones. In case you guys are wondering, is there a difference? Now this thing is coated with freaking grease. I don't know why it has that much grease. Like, did you not put any in the reel so you thought you'd compensate? Anyway, 6726 5327. So there's a difference. Actually, about 1.5 grams. And I know you're like, that doesn't matter, and it doesn't. Aluminum way more. But the problem is when you're out there and you're trying to design a reel to compete and be lightweight, all those little grams, they definitely add up. And so you end up, this is actually a very powerful looking made handle that is very light. They've come a long way for sure on the lightweight of the Daiwa and Shimano for that matter. I don't have one I easily within grasp where I'd show you that. All right, we're gonna leave everything there in shambles. We've got everything in shambles, but I'm getting out. I'm gonna finish rigging this up. I'm gonna go ahead and put one of these handles, and I'll be honest, I'm probably gonna put, where did it go? Just because this is my favorite knob at the time. Probably gonna rig one of these up with the gold so I can get a little idea of what I like, what the gold looks like on it. Do like I said with the lines, and then you're going to see a lot of different shootout deals. But we're also going to be testing on those two reels while we're doing the shootout, and like I mentioned on the lingual, which as of right now, this is my new favorite. Of course, it costs. You can buy a bunch of linguals for the price of that one reel. But my favorite reel so far overall out of this whole, buying all this different stuff from AliExpress, trying to find a, something I liked better. It was a cheaper version, not the Aldebaran, but as far as AliExpress reels, that far has, it's just, that's it. And you guys know I've got these different variations of these coming. I've got, I gotta just call it the green version and the red version. They're from different brand names, but it's the same reel. One reel company's making all these lingo looking ones for all these other companies. But we're gonna be checking the Proveros line on both those there. We're gonna be checking the Proveros line on the Black Knight 2. There's not really much else to check on the Black Knight 2. I'm just gonna keep fishing it because I've added upgraded regular line. Horrible results. I mean, horrible. It's not good. But then I'm gonna get out here and I gotta put, I may just put that on it because, I'm gonna want to use it and get, even though I don't really, it's kind of a different thing. This is more just a regular bait casting powerhouse, and this is more on the finesse side. But I may slap them together and just fish them for a while tomorrow, because I do want to try this 13 fishing rod out. I know it's going to be fine for chatterbaits, but I'm going to also, just due to the fact that it also has a short handle, I'm going to try it out briefly and see what I think as far as for a jerkbait rod. I know it'll do it, but how well, will it be, just grabbing baits and slapping them on this, kind of that do-all kind of rod, or will it be only an emergency, like if for some reason your line snaps on your other one and you're in a hurry and you just want to slap, jerk bait on this one or whatever kind of deal. Because so far, if you guys, you're going to watch a video on Christmas, and I'm going to give you a spoiler alert. I already fixed it. It's not a good fix because at some point, this was already like this. I don't know what happened. I didn't mess with that, but it's like from the factory it came weird. But I think I'm going to shorten it. I'm going to do something different with this handle anyway. But I broke this out there casting it. I was doing like two-hand. I reached down when I grabbed. It's just, this is an old rod and that cork gave way, but I did re-glue it. I didn't balance it because this rod is more of a constant moving base, but I may balance it once I do the changing. But I'll show you real quick what I did. And I'm going to try this reel out on it, see what I think. But I just wanted to show you, I completely took off the paint. It had the silver, just too much silver going on. And yes, I left it rough intentionally, and I may redo it. I kind of wanted it to look like a wood, and I was going to try to get it more of a brown tint. But what I think I'm going to do is just leave it alone. My original intentions were to make it feel grippier, what they call it, stipple or whatever, like you would do on a, like a Glock, right? Your plastic guns, they do that heat treat, they melt, kind of mold it, change it, do the little stippling, whatever they call that. I was gonna kind of had that in mind when I was messing with that. Still feels real good. I don't know. I can't decide if it, I think it looks a little weird. But it actually works very fine. And it feels as good, if not better, than that. I was just getting tired of it. And anyway, I'm going to try that rod out on a couple different things tomorrow. I'm not planning on catching many fish, I'll be honest. Like I said, the temps are going to be warm the rest of this weekend. Starting tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is going to be 58 to 70 degrees all 3 days. It's going to be warmest tomorrow. Christmas is going to be almost 60, and then back to like 67. I don't know. It's supposed to warm back up on Sunday, so it's a possibility I'm going to go on Sunday again. Did I put the gold spool in there? I think I did, didn't I? So anyway, if you like this unboxing, I know I was long-winded, talked about everything, but man, I love the feel of this new reel so far. I love the looks of it, and like I had said, if I had to compare it to what it looks like, an old reel would be the old Metaniums, the old, almost the same color Metaniums. The ones that were back when the Chronarch D7 was over here in the States, they had the old Metaniums. But just a different, I don't know, I like that reel. I like the reel. Hopefully I like it a lot. Oh, lastly, as I get out of here, And since I finally have another one that I can comment on, and I guess I'll talk about that. Like mine, the zero adjuster, you hear the real test talking about he don't mess with that, whatever Daiwa sets it from. Now mine feels perfect. I don't feel any resistance, and I don't feel any slop. But I'm gonna check that. When I get line on mine, you guys, if you follow the channel, you know, same thing about the crappie jig I've talked about. I do a lot with the little 2-gram crappie jig. I like to tie this on the end of my line, and on any, even if the bigger reels or even if I'm using 15-pound test, I want this baby just to drop, and when it hits the ground, I want this to go maybe a couple, you know, maybe a turn, just like a woo, and it stops. That's where I like that setting on all my reels. Now, if I'm doing the crazy trout magnet test, then yeah, I grab the trout magnet, and I kind of want the same thing. But sometimes this trout magnet, with certain reels I have, it's hard to get it to drop. But what you want is, you don't want, in my mind, now, somebody said they read that Daiwa recommends a little side, no, you don't want no side-to-side play. All that doing this could do would be to start, cause it to have an issue. You want to take out all of that. But you don't want to add any resistance, because the minute you do, and I guess I'll show you with this reel, as I get out of here. So here's what happens. You got this awesome reel, right? Look at that spin. So if you go too crazy here, not even only on the cast, so let's just tighten it. So that's pretty tight. You also you start adding resistance on your reeling and everything. So you gotta be careful. You know, you'll see a lot of guys recommend like, oh, you put on your bait and then you adjust this to where it just falls. Problem is, if you're throwing 1/2 ounce and you crank that baby down to where 1/2 ounce just falls and stops, well then and I mean, you guys can't feel this, but the resistance is crazy. You want to, just like I said, and I do it so because consistency. I want all my reels to basically feel the same. So I use this. I just, it's 2 grams. As it drops, when it hits, I just want a little bit of overrun. Not enough to like really backlash or anything. And I find that is the best all around. But yeah, any reel could be a little different. You might be out there casting, and you dial this. You go a click tighter, not working. You go a click back, then a click looser. It just feels like it needs to be a little looser. Okay, loosen up, or it needs to be a little tighter. And a lot of times, this little click, watch, listen. Okay, clicked, right? Now this one is fairly good, but some of these will turn a long ways before they click. So you might want, I'm telling you, when you fine-tuning a reel, you get in there and you're fine-tuning your casting, and you're used to a reel, you may actually want to go to that click and then back it back a hair. Like I've had some reels that I like to fine tune them that much, and then they just feel perfect. Then of course you change baits and you're like, oh, that changed it. But anyway, that's something that I don't want anybody. I don't want somebody at the factory going, all right, I'm back. But anyway, what I'm trying to make, that's not something like simply bolting on a handle or hopping on this drag star, and then you're going to adjust it later. That's an adjustment. You wouldn't let somebody go from the factory go, yeah, that's where it works best, right there, leave it. No, that adjustment and that adjustment are for fine tuning. I don't care if they call it a zero adjuster. I mean, if they truly didn't want you messing with anything, definitely will be setting that up if I don't like the way it feels with this, or if I'm just out there casting and I get to where I'm like, the adjustment is it needs just a little more tighter. But when I go tighter with the brush this time, I forgot all about is its game just here, just like the Alpha's Air TW. I love that. That, if you guys remember back when I had mine, oh man, that thing feels awesome. This thing on any of these Shimanos, and I know guys said you can take them all apart and there's like a straight screw there, you can loosen a little. That is horrible. That is, and yeah, I dropped this one, remember? If you guys follow the channel. This was like brand new. I dropped it outside doing a freaking test cast video. Got some scratches. Doesn't affect the performance at all. That right there is just, you can't hardly see it. I'm old, I know. I just turned 50, by the way, if you guys don't know. Just trying to turn and mess with that. That is a horrible design. Horrible design. I would be happy if Shimano came out with the new 2022 model Aldebaran. Everything was identical, and they just had changed this. I'd be like, oh sweet, now it's perfect. But they don't. I don't know what they're gonna do. But that is not good. This, just for that fact right there, is already getting brownie points for me. Just the ability to adjust that and see it. I feel those are, they're still not the greatest to see because they put them on a chrome, but definitely legible, and you can just, it's not hard to work that. Now, yeah, any of these, anytime you have adjustments out here that can be hit, you got to be a little more careful, but I don't know. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Stay tuned, going fishing. I'm excited. I was excited anyway to get out on the water. I mean, it's going to be, it's crazy. Christmas Eve day, I'll be out fishing. Probably in a tank top. Well, maybe a hoodie if it's too windy. But I'll be able to get out here with my new reel. It's not the most expensive reel I've ever bought by far. Most expensive I bought in a while because I was buying the all the Aldebarans I've already owned since a year, almost 2 years. I don't know, a while. But yeah, very excited to get that out and put it through its paces with the SV spool. Now my son's got the TD Ito, and it's got a purple BFS spool. If I could actually run out there tonight, I could grab that spool from him. But I'm gonna try this spool out. That tomorrow will be a good test. Who knows? You guys may see me out here Sunday with the purple deal off the Black Knight 2 and a purple spool off the Ito, just to see what that looks like. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Seriously, I'm gone this time.